Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting and family communication all around the world through the lens of self-government. And in this video, I'm answering the question, should kids share religion with others? That's what we're talking about. I think there's two rules of thought on this question, if kids should share their religious views with other people, and I definitely have a unique perspective on this. So in this video, I'm going to share a story, a real life story of a child who did share religion with other people, and then what types of protocols we should teach our children when it comes to sharing things that are really important to them, like their beliefs and their faith. Many people think that there are two topics you should never talk about, and that's religion and politics. In fact, for many school teachers at school, the rule is you cannot talk about your religion at school, meaning that you can't promote it, right? So if somebody said, oh, are you this certain religion? You definitely could say yes, because that would be weird to lie to a child. But they don't want you promoting the tenets and gospels and doctrines of that religion in school. That's usually the general rule, at least here in the United States. But what about the children? Do the same rules apply to them? What do you think? So years ago, there was a girl who was in one of my church classes, and she said to me that a person at school asked her the question, and this was another child at school, and this girl was probably 10 or 11 years old, and this friend of hers said, "How do you pray?" And she said, "I don't know if I can talk about that with you." And so then the friend immediately said, "Oh, okay. We won't talk about it." So when the girl talked to me and she explained the situation, I said, actually, the only people who can't talk about stuff like that at school are the teachers and administrators. The children can talk about anything that they want. And she said, they can? And I said, yes, and they should. Children should be free to talk about whatever they want to. They should not worry about having to keep an environment a certain way, because they're the learners. They're not the teachers, and that's why there's the distinction. And children, if they're true learners, and if the environment is for true learning, should be able to take all the bits of information that's around them and put it together in one big picture called education. So I said, you could absolutely tell your friend, well, this is how I pray. Do you want me to show you, or do you want me to tell you the steps? And then if that friend wants to know, you can share those things, but always be respectful. This girl had her eyes opened. She could not believe, because she thought, in fact, I think even her parent had told her, you can't talk about that there, because the rule for adults is a certain thing. That doesn't mean it's the rule for children. So she did share how to pray with her friend, and she said that it was a really great experience. Now, does that mean that her friend ended up believing every single thing that she believed? No, in fact, probably not. But the friend was curious, and so her friend taught her something that she knew, and they should be able to have the freedom to do that. In fact, in the United States, everybody has religious freedoms, and there's only in certain circumstances, like in schools, where those freedoms become limited because of the influence that an adult has in the lives of a child, and because it's supposed to be this educational environment that's unbiased. Now, sadly, there's still a lot of bias that's taught, and the religion piece doesn't come in as part of it. But we can remember that our children do have those freedoms. So how do we help our children learn how to navigate that freedom of religion and religious expression that they have and still maintain good social conduct? Before I talk about how I taught my children to express themselves in social situations about their beliefs, click that subscribe button. There's so much content on this channel that is vital for good child rearing and will really help you increase your calmness, connection, and good teaching to your kids in your family. So click on that subscribe now, and don't forget to also click that notification bell so that you get notified when new videos come out. My children are pretty outspoken. In fact, one time I remember my child said to their friend, because our family had a rule about certain kinds of bathing suits, and her friend ended up getting a bathing suit that was kind of skimpy compared to what our family would wear. And so she says to her friend, and this is when she was about 5, she says to her friend, "Oh, is that your new swimming suit? Did your family not have enough money to buy you a full swimming suit? I have an extra swimming suit. I can give you one of mine." You know, just the beautiful innocence, openness, honestness of children, but not realizing that that might not come across very well to the friend or to the parents. So of course we had to do a teaching time, right? Well, we need to make sure that we pre-teach our children about expressing themselves and their religious beliefs or your family culture and your family ways, because those can also be things that are different from other people. We need to make sure that they're understanding that not everybody is going to have the same beliefs. So we need to make sure that they're exposed to different people, but also that you discuss that exposure when it happens. So on purpose, we decided that our children needed to know people who had a variety of economic situations in our culture. So people who lived in really destitute circumstances, people who lived maybe in our same kind of, walk of life and socioeconomic class, I guess. And then people who had classes that was maybe, would normally consider to be more elite or elevated above our family's class. And that way we could let them have experiences with all these different people and the way they live and the way they believe, and then we could discuss it afterwards. So our car rides are always full of discussion, not gossip type discussion, but where we compare and contrast. We talk about the things we like in our culture and maybe some of the things we might want to adopt from somebody else's culture, what some of their strong opinions or beliefs are, and why they might feel so strongly about those things. I also made sure that my children had a basic understanding of a lot of different belief structures and religions so that they could understand a person's history and why they might say something a certain way that maybe our family doesn't think the same way about. Now, obviously, the same stuff goes for politics. So make sure your children get to know a large group of people, experience diversity, but make sure that you're there to help walk them through it so they don't just end up confused. We do want our children to have values that match our own, if at all possible. That brings them more security in their life. It gives them a support system who's with them through everything, if it's possible. But I do know that sometimes children will switch from their parents' beliefs, and that's okay too if it happens. We just have to make sure that we maintain a good bond there. So that discussion does two things. It maintains a good bond, but it also helps improve the likelihood that our child might develop our same beliefs and customs that we have in our family culture and in our religious culture. Talking about those things ahead of time with the children is key, but then you might want to give them a few other tips too. So when you're talking to your children about connecting with others in a good social way, there is a skill that can be really beneficial. Now, this is a skill my children use with us. They use with each other, school teachers, anyone, and this skill is called disagreeing appropriately. So maybe somebody shares something that your child does not agree with when it comes to religious practices, faiths, or beliefs. So then what you do is you teach the child to look at the person or situation, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say that they understand the other person's point of view, share their point of view, listen to what the other person has to say, and then say okay and drop the subject. They don't have to end up agreeing with a person. They just need to know how to carry on a proper dialogue with them. Teach them, understand as much as you can. Try to learn about people, but also make sure that you get the opportunity to share too. So after a person has expressed something to you, then say, I know that you feel this way about this, or it seems that you care a lot about this aspect of your religion. In our religion, we have something that's similar, or in our religion, we actually think the opposite of that. This is what we feel, and carry on that conversation, but also valuing that the other person took the time and energy to share with your child. So teaching them to disagree appropriately with you and to stay calm in their communications with you, which is part of disagreeing appropriately, is going to help them in all of their social situations. disagreeing appropriately is just one of the skills that you're going to want to learn for your family. So if you've enjoyed this video, I know you're going to enjoy my next video, which is 5 rules every family should know. So click on the link to that video now and find more skills that can help your family communicate and help your children communicate with other people too.